What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, December 9th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. We have some major breaking news coming in from Russia. So, the Russian Federation is going to be closing the skies over the Kapustin Yar missile test range from December 10th through December 13th. So that's this week. And Kapustin Yar is the test range where Russia launched the Oreshnik Icbm at Ukraine for the first time last month. And they've been threatening to launch another Icbm at Ukraine. Putin even said himself about 2 weeks ago that the Russian army was in the process of selecting targets and that they will strike decision-making centers in Kyiv. So this is very, very concerning. I will be monitoring the situation like a hawk in the 24/7 live streams. I will be monitoring the nuclear forces and keeping you guys updated on everything going on related to that. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump called for an immediate ceasefire and negotiations to end the Ukraine war, urging Russian President Vladimir Putin to act and suggesting that China could help facilitate peace. Trump made the comments after meeting Ukrainian President Zelensky in Paris. Zelensky responded, emphasizing that peace must include reliable guarantees, not just a paper agreement to prevent further suffering and losses. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov indicated Russia was open to talks, but based on previous agreements from 2022, acknowledging battlefield realities where Russia has made significant gains. Okay, so Trump went to Paris. He met with Macron and Zelensky. Okay, that is absolutely huge news. And what's interesting is Trump actually wore the Ukraine colors. He had a yellow tie and a blue suit jacket, which is pretty interesting. Okay, maybe that was his way of showing some respect to Ukraine. And the U.S. struck over 75 ISIS targets in Syria yesterday and today using multiple U.S. Air Force assets, including B-52s, F-15s, and A-10 Warthogs. And Israeli forces have advanced past the DMZ with Syria for the first time since 1973, and that was earlier today. So they are now officially in Syrian territory. Last night they crossed into the DMZ with Syria and they took over the town of Quneitra. Well, now they have pushed further into Syria. And multiple Israeli airstrikes pounded downtown Damascus today. And yesterday, the Israeli Air Force struck multiple chemical weapons laboratories around Damascus. Okay, so Israel is taking advantage of the situation in Syria, trying to take out as many of these weapons facilities, including chemical weapons facilities, as they can before these rebels take over Syria and form a new government. And Assad, the dictator of Syria, has fled. We don't know if he died in a plane crash. We don't know if he's in Moscow. We don't know if he's still in Syria. We don't know if he's in Iran. We don't know where he is, okay? We'll probably find out in the coming days and weeks, okay? But Syria is now going to be under the control of a new government. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this new government. Are they going to be more Western friendly? Are they going to be jihadists? We don't know. It does seem like they are going to be more Western oriented based on what I've seen. I'm going to show you guys some footage here in a moment. But a lot of these people in Syria are not jihadists. They're not ISIS people. Okay, most people in Syria are just normal people. Okay, and they have been under the rule of Assad and his father for 50 years. Okay, so not everybody in Syria is a jihadist. Okay, it's not like some Taliban country. Okay, And an Israeli official said that in the coming days, Israel might capture more areas inside of Syria and further deepen the attacks against strategic targets in Syria to prevent weapons from falling into the hands of various jihadist forces. And Israel said they will conduct limited military operations inside Syria to dismantle all Iranian military and weapons facilities. Wow. So this is huge news, guys. We know that Syria was a transit point for weapons going to Hezbollah and Hamas. Okay, Iran and Russia funneled weapons into Syria, and then those weapons went to Hezbollah and Hamas, and they were used in the October 7 attack on Israel. Okay, and Russia has given asylum to Assad's wife and kids. They're in Moscow right now. And following a fresh assessment, the Israeli army says that it is lifting the closed military zones imposed on the border with Syria yesterday. And they also reopened some schools in the northern Golan Heights. And the Israeli army radio is reporting that Israel bombed over 100 targets in Syria today, most of them being weapons depots. Wow. Okay, so Israel is trying to wipe out all of Assad's weapons and wipe out any Iranian bases and strategic targets in Syria. Huge opportunity for Israel, huge opportunity for the U.S., and the Iranian foreign minister said today that conflicts are expected to spread not only to Iraq, but to the entire region. So sounds like a threat there. And the rebels tore down a banner of Nasrallah and Soleimani outside of the Iranian embassy in Damascus. So this just shows you that they're not jihadists, at least not all of them, if they're tearing down a banner of Nasrallah and Soleimani. And the Syrian rebels made an official announcement on Syrian state TV last night stating, "We have liberated Damascus, removed Assad, and freed all prisoners from the regime's prison." So here we have video footage of them making this statement. So it's all over. Assad is gone. Game over for Assad.
رقم 1 غرفة عمليات فتح دمشق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تم بحمده تعالى تحرير مدينة دمشق وإسقاط الطاغية بشار الأسد وإطلاق سراح جميع المعتقلين المظلومين من سجون النظام. إن غرفة عمليات فتح دمشق تهيب بالإخوة المجاهدين والمواطنين والحفاظ على جميع ممتلكات الدولة السورية الحرة.
So I don't know what they're saying, but just wanted to share that with you. Here we have an official press release from U.S. Central Command about the airstrikes on ISIS, dozens of airstrikes. Okay, it says here, U.S. Central Command forces conducted dozens of precision airstrikes targeting known ISIS camps and operatives in central Syria on December the 8th. The strikes against the ISIS leaders, operatives, and camps were conducted as part of the ongoing mission to disrupt, degrade, and defeat ISIS in order to prevent the terrorist group from conducting external operations and to ensure that ISIS does not seek to take advantage of the current situation to reconstitute in central Syria. The operation struck over 75 targets using multiple U.S. Air Force assets, including B-52s, F-15s, and A-10s. Battle damage assessments are underway, and there are no indications of civilian casualties. Okay, so very interesting. And here we have video footage of these Israeli tanks, main battle tanks, they're Merkava tanks, entering into Syrian territory. So Syria is basically at the mercy of the surrounding great powers. You have Israel taking a piece, you have the U.S., you have Turkey even getting involved, bombing some targets, and then you have these rebels in the middle of all of it trying to form a government. That's just an armored bulldozer right there. Looks like Israeli troops being moved in there. And here we have video footage of these Syrian rebels that supposedly everybody says are jihadists tearing down a banner of Nasrallah and Soleimani. Looks like they didn't get a chance to finish, but I'm sure they eventually did. And then here we have a video of all these people in Damascus flooding the streets in celebration of Assad being eliminated from power. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Look at all these people. This is insane. Allahu Akbar. So pretty crazy situation. And then here we have video footage of Assad's palace being looted by Syrian citizens. Wow, I think they're chanting Allah Akbar. And then here we have the Iranian embassy in Damascus being looted as well. So you can see multiple looters here. It says Embassy of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, being looted. Absolutely insane. And we're hearing that Assad's forces have completely withdrawn from the Damascus International Airport. The rebels have seized control of that entire airport. We also know that Russian planes were attacking weapons caches belonging to Hezbollah and Iran in Syria so they don't fall into the hands of the Syrian rebels. And Bashar al-Assad's brother and commander of the Syrian army's elite 4th Armored Division fled with his family from Syria. And beginning this month, the U.S. Air Force will temporarily transfer 17 B-1 Lancer bombers and 800 airmen. And beginning this month, the U.S. Air Force will temporarily transfer 17 B-1 Lancer bombers and 800 airmen from Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota to Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota. And this is to make room for the B-21 Raiders, which are going to be based in Ellsworth. Okay, so for those of you guys who live in the Black Hills region, Ellsworth Air Force Base is now going to become a major nuclear war target because we're going to be stationing multiple B-21s at Ellsworth, along with 2 other bases. I know they're going to be in Whiteman, I believe also in Minot as well. Okay, so Ellsworth will become a primary nuclear war target. And Iran launched its largest satellite payload into orbit on Friday, weighing 660 pounds. Iranian state media says one of the nation's 2-stage Samorg rockets launched on Friday, December the 6th, with payloads weighing a combined 660 pounds. Interesting, the weight of that 660, that's the number of the devil, you know, the number 6. Those payloads include a space tug known as Saman-1 that can boost satellites to higher orbits, the Fakir-1 CubeSat, and an undisclosed research payload, according to Reuters. The 3 payloads were placed into an elliptical or oval-shaped low Earth orbit reaching up to 255 miles at its highest point or apogee. and 184 miles at its lowest, or perigee. While Iranian media is lauding the launch as a milestone for Iran's space sector, some analysts in the West say the launch only serves to further Iran's burgeoning nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs. So, looks like some kind of space weapon, maybe, or some kind of new satellite. Okay, an undisclosed research payload. Very interesting. And I do believe that Iran has already launched EMPs into low Earth orbit, and they're orbiting around the Earth right now as we speak, along with the North Korean satellite EMPs. And basically, those satellite EMPs can be detonated at any time. They just wait for the satellite to go over the United States, and they just click a button and detonate it and take out our entire power grid, or most of it. And China will be doing drills around Taiwan through Wednesday. Taiwan's Ministry of Defense has set up an operations center to monitor the situation. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on with more breaking news, and I will be in and out of the 24/7 live stream. It looks like Russia will be launching another ICBM at Ukraine this coming week. But until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.